What's up, everybody? This is Patrick Sukup with Sukup Real Estate Services in Fort Collins, Colorado. And today I'll be talking to you guys about property taxes and how they are calculated. With it just being an election and things changing, specifically the Gallagher Amendment, which was repealed, property taxes have been affected now and moving forward. So let's dive in and look at how are property taxes calculated and how were they calculated, and what that means for you as a home buyer in Northern Colorado. Alrighty, so reviewing real quick, just so that it's super clear. Appraised value, this is what you argue with your assessors. $400,000 times this frozen now assessment rate, 7.15%. gives you your assessed value. At that point, your assessed value is what is calculated off the mill levy, which in Northern Colorado, Larimer County, is averaging between 75 and 100. Mine's right around 95. Gives you your property taxes due that year. Now, what happens when this appraised value increases? To understand what the repealment of the Gallagher Act means to you as a homeowner, first we have to understand how we calculate property taxes moving. In Northern Colorado and Larimer County, we used an appraised value, which we use a market value. This is where you as a homeowner might go to your assessment office and argue the valuation of your home. It's always a hilarious game. When you go to sell your house, you're looking for the highest and best price, but when you go to the assessor's office, you are fighting and telling them how shitty your house is. So this is where you argue with the assessor's office, your appraised value. So for our example, let's just use $400,000 times. This is where the assessment rate now over the years has fluctuated from 30% now down to 7.15%, which will give you $28,600. This is going to be your assessed value. Now, your mill levy will be what's comprised of their special taxing districts, your schools, hospitals, river districts, libraries. They each have mills. So your mill levy is going to be comprised of a whole bunch of different special taxing districts, which in Fort Collins in Northern Colorado, mill levy of 90 is a pretty average mill levy. So your assessed value is going to be times your mill levy of 90, but to get it, it's 90 is one mill levy is $1 per $1,000 evaluation. So 0.09 will give you your property tax. That's where you times your assessed value by the mill levy, which would be 90, or $1 per $1,000 evaluation. So 0.09 gives you your property tax of $2,574 due annually. This is what your property taxes would be for this year. Now, over the years, with the assessed valuation in Colorado of residential moving forward and moving higher, that rate, that 7.15%, has continually decreased. Now with it being frozen, this appraised value will immediately impact the taxes that you are due. So why this is important today is the Gallagher Amendment, like I said, has been repealed. And what that was is in the early 80s, the amendment basically put in some ratios, some permanent ratios that residential assessed rates or assessed valuation could not exceed 45% of the complete picture of the assessed valuations in Colorado for commercial and residential. So commercial, 55% of the total assessed valuations, and residential, 45% of the total assessed valuations. Well, as you can project with the explosive growth of the residential properties in Northern Colorado and all of Colorado, the assessed valuations have gone through the roof. So what that means is the assessment rate has to decrease so that the assessed valuations come down. Let's dig in and what that means. So When this amendment was enacted in the 80s, our assessment rate was 30%. And over the years, due to the explosive growth in Colorado, our assessment rate has dropped all the way to 7.15% and was planning on dropping down into the 4s for our assessment rate. Before, just as of 2 days ago, well, November 3rd, this amendment had been repealed. So moving forward, our assessment rate is frozen at 7.15% moving forward. What does this mean for you as a homeowner? Alrighty, so over the years, we've seen a 5% appreciation in Northern Colorado, specifically Fort Collins. So in 2020, if your property is worth $400,000, you could maybe assume that in 2021, $420, $441, and $463 in 2023. So if your property is worth $463,000 in 2023, you're gonna have a 7.15% assessment rate to give you an assessed value of $33,108. We're gonna keep the 90 mils, which is now gonna give you an annual property tax of $2,979. Well, in 2020, you had $2,574. Now you have an extra $400 due every year moving forward. It's pretty dramatic. It's not huge. It does matter for small businesses and commercial buildings because the burden is not going to be nearly as much as it has been. But for you private, residential, occupied, owner-occupied real estate owners, it will have an impact on you moving forward. Ultimately, it's a small price to pay to be able to provide higher and better services for those special taxing districts, firefighters, and schools specifically. So maybe combined, we can accept that freeze of the assessment rate moving forward, but it's just important for you to understand what that means to you in the bottom dollar. My name is Patrick Sugup with Sugup Real Estate Services here in Fort Collins, Colorado. I appreciate you watching. I now hope you understand, one, how your properties are being taxed and why they're being taxed the way they are, and what the Gallagher Amendment means to you moving forward. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, email me, text, comment below, and if you haven't already, subscribe, like, interact. It means a lot. Thanks for watching.